Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I am coming back at you with another Wargaming and miniature video. In this video, we're going to go ahead and continue on with our World War II project update to let you basically know where I am, what kind of progress I have made on my trip to completion. Basically, I am putting together everything needed for this scenario, the Lafayette Bridge campaign. So I need U.S. paratroopers, 82nd glider troops. I also need German grenadiers, and of course, enough terrain to do the battle. And my project is building the terrain tiles for a 4x6 table and getting the miniatures all set up for the game battle group. Okay, so I've created or cut out and glued together all the tiles. Now what I'm doing is I'm applying various terrain features onto the 2x2 tiles. All right, and if you haven't come out to any of these updates in the past, what they are is basically me telling you where I am so far. My end goal is July-ish, June, July, honestly, is when I would like to have this complete, so that I can play it a couple of times here at the house with friends, basically play test it, and in August, I'm going to take all this down to NashCon, and we're going to play this once or twice down at NashCon. So if you plan to attend NashCon, if you're a fan of my channel, sign up for my game and come and play and have fun with us. If you haven't played Battle Group before, come out and check it out. All right, so just to get everyone up to date, I've got all the German infantry complete. I've got it all finished. I still need to make a couple of mortar pits and a sniper blind for the Germans. The Americans, I have nothing complete. Zero. I'm still waiting for my order from Battlefront. I've got some miniatures coming in from them. I should be getting in infantry for gliders, and I should be getting in paratroopers. I do have some Old Glory coming in, but that's just odds and ends for my World War II collection. It's not really for the project. Okay, so I don't know where to begin, but let's start with this. Okay, I mixed some paint with some Mod Podge, right? And I believe I mixed grass green and primarily forest moss with Mod Podge, 50-50. And I painted the edges of the map with that color. Now, serves two purposes. When the tiles are pushed together, the sides of the styrofoam will blend with the grass paper that I've used on my mat, so it won't be so blatant. If I left it black or even brown, there might or might not be a black or brown shadow delineating every one of my tiles. I didn't want that. I wanted it to blend together. So I went with this color green because I felt it matched the ground tile the best. I used Mod Podge as an experiment, because I've never used it before, as a sealant and as a protector for the styrofoam. Basically, so if I bump the styrofoam against a doorway or something like that when I'm loading it into the convention, or if I drop it here in the house or whatever, it'll help protect those edges and the sides, and it won't get a lot of damage. And I've noticed it did harden it up quite a bit, and that's good. But the reason why I didn't just use Elmer's glue, because I read somewhere that Mod Podge has a little bit of resin in it. So not necessarily resin. What's the word I'm looking for? Not acrylic. Varnish, yeah. So it has a little bit of that varnish in it, so it should harden up even harder than Elmer's would. So so that's why I did that. Okay, halfway through the project, I decided that I was not going to, this is low ground right here. As you can see, there's a hill and it goes down to low ground. The low ground, my initial planning was to put fields directly onto the foam and then cover like this, and then cover the fields with a liquid like I've done here on this river, to cover the entire area with a liquid, because it's supposedly, well, it is actually in fact flooded. The Germans flooded the area to cause problems with logistics for the Americans that were invading. So this area should be all flooded. Well, I considered putting the field directly on the foam and then completely covering the entire area with a liquid, but I stepped that back and decided I wasn't going to do that. I was just going to verbally tell the players that the low ground is flooded, and that way I can use this map, these map tiles, in other situations that I deem like I could use this tile in some other battle and say that and it's not flooded, right? Okay. All right. So I decided to lay the grass onto the base, right, so that the entire area would be covered. You can kind of see shining through here some areas where I had painted fields directly to this foam, but I went back later and covered it with grass. Okay. In certain areas, there will be this plowed field texture. You got the corrugated crop fields, right, that are plowed. And I got a sheet of this from Bosch, and it comes as an 18-inch, I think 11 by 18 inch sheet, and I cut it down into various sizes and shapes. There's not one on there, but I filled in certain fields with this, and then I cut this around that. So there's very little grass under there. There might be just a little bit of edge. Okay. Okay, so now when I was applying the grass and these fields, I used a spray adhesive. I used the Super 77. And when I sprayed the foam as well as the backside of the paper, and some of that spray had gotten onto the river, and so the river used to be very shiny, very thick water, and then with that spray it basically gave it a snow cover look, or an icy look, which is kind of a cool look if it was snowing and icy. But this is supposed to be the middle of June. So I went back in after the glue had dried. I went back in and painted it blue again over everything. And then I just recently put in the Vallejo water texture, which the Vallejo water texture is a very thick paste. It's thicker than the AK. I think I prefer the AK because it goes on very smooth, but the Vallejo paste allows me to put texture into the water, making it not look as smooth. Basically, like not rapids, but like it's a river, a flowing river over certain things. Now, I probably could have put like rocks or something on the inside of that, and then applied the paste, and then make it, and then did like little currents around the rocks or whatever. But no, I didn't want to go that far. Okay. De-dump. Right. So now these areas here are supposed to have those fields. Remember the ones that I had painted? Okay, so I decided that I was going to cut out wood, wood hobby craft board. This is 2mm thick plywood, and I was going to use this as fields on my table. And then what I was going to do is put fields similar to this on these, and then I was going to build, let me rephrase that. I am going to build hedges around these fields, and so there will be a field with a hedge around it. Now there will be gaps in the hedges. There might actually even be trees growing out of the hedges. There's going to be fields like this, like plowed fields, but I'm going to actually put crops in here in rows, and I might apply a little bit of texture, maybe some texture in some lines, but I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to do it. I thought I was going to maybe do flex paste and then put flock on top of it, but then I ran across this, and I pulled them all out so I can show them off here in just a second. I came across this pack of grass, right? And it comes with 4 or 5 different colors, and they come as a sheet like this on craft paper, just like this craft paper grass. But these, you can see this is probably a little bit thicker than that. You can kind of see the brown craft paper shining through, where on this one it's very thick. But also, these are all static grass. And I didn't really measure this, but it looks like it's about 8 inches by 12 inches. So it's an 8 by 12. And then you can always cut that piece off. But what I did was I cut these into various shapes and put them onto their boards. I texture pasted all the way around, so to cover the entire board, and then when I put the hedge on there, that'll disguise that, and then I'll flock it as well. So this edge will still be flocked. These are not finished. I don't think I want to finish them until I get my crop strips in, but these are pretty cool. They're static grass. You get like 15 of them in, 12 of them in there, 10, I don't know. You get 2 of each, and I think there's 6 different colors. You got this, and you can kind of see the different colors that I used. That one is got all bunch of red and yellows in it. This has just a little bit of yellow. This is almost all yellow, which I wish I had more of this color, because that was just cool as heck. This is more of this color, and then this color. This color I did not use because I felt it was too close to this, and I didn't want to double up on that color. And there's, I think, one more in here that I didn't double up with. I don't remember. So maybe there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe there's only 5 and you get 2 of each, so maybe there's only 10. But still, it was quite a bit. Let's see what it says on the label. 10 pieces. Yep. Okay. This pack is super cheap. I figured I could make more fields. I can also make wooded areas. I can make hilltops or whatever. I can make anything with that. Urban areas. Anything, right? Okay. So that's pretty cool. I'm happy about that, and I'm happy about these fields. Now, these all have a specific cut because they all go in specific areas. Like this one is down there somewhere. I mean, I don't want to put them all completely on the board or whatever, but like this one will go like right there. And then this one, I don't think those two go together. I don't remember. I'll have to and I know those two don't go together because I tried not to do the same colors side by side, so I don't remember. But wait, I think this one goes way down here like this, and then I know for a fact that one goes there. So it goes something like that, and then this one is going to go on the other side like that, and so there's going to be a bunch of fields here, and this crop field here continues on to the second tile, and each one of these will have at least 3 sides covered with a hedge, maybe some gaps in the hedges, maybe some trees on the hedges. I'm going to have to do that kind of randomly. These 2 pieces go completely onto the other map, and so these will go side by side. And so that'll be all the fields. Now, there are a couple of packs. I think there's like 3 packs of field strips that I ordered, and one of them is poppy fields. I know, it's crazy, right? This is not a poppy field area, but it just looked cool with the red fruits inside the field, the tufts. It's basically a strip of tufts, and each one of those would be like a plant. One of them is like a dark green. Another one is like a wheat yellow, and the other one is like green with like red balls on it or whatever. You'll see it when it comes in. But I don't expect those till the middle of March because they're coming from Antarctica or something like that. They're coming from a long ways away. But that's okay. When those come in, we'll finish them. I'll either put the strips in this way or I'll put them in this way, probably the short ways. I'll put gaps between them so it'll look like crops, and I'll probably put some dirt in there as well with some exposed grass. I don't know how I want to do it. We'll figure it out. I'm just excited for that. Okay. That's the fields. Now the hedges that I'm going to put around those, but also there's a number of hedges that run through the entire battlefield that are not bocage. They are just your regular run-of-the-mill either wild hedges or groomed hedges. So the hedges that are near the villages, the farm complex that's on this hill here, or the city, which is a little bit off the map over here, those hedges are going to be groomed hedges. So they're going to be basically, flat top, flat sides, straight lines. Everything's going to be good. And those I pretty much already have finished. but I need to make some wild hedges that are going to be in various places on the battlefield, either outlining some fields that don't have crops in them, or outlining these crop fields, because like these crop fields, I'm going to put some wild hedges on them, and those fields, I'm going to put some wild hedges around the edges as well. I'm going to use primarily these scrub pads. I'm going to cut them to about 10 millimeters or something, maybe 15 millimeters. I'm going to cut them pretty tall, maybe a little bit taller than that. And then the top of the hedge, instead of leaving it flat, I'm going to cut it in a kind of a random pattern, and then I'm going to cut the edges off so it doesn't have like sharp edges. It's okay to have sharp edges, that's no problem, but I just want to make it look a little random, right? And then I'm going to flock this, so you're going to see like a green flock on top of, or sticky to, this brown hedge, and then the brown hedge, which is going to be mostly green, but this will be hidden underneath, will form your hedgerows. Okay. Failing this, or as a variety to this, because I don't like everything being same. I like there to be a little bit of variety, you know, just like my women. So I'm going to use some of these pads. Now, there's a difference between these 3M Scotch-Brite pads, which you can see the color of them, right? And then these are Everyday Living, which I think I got from Walmart, maybe, something like that. But look at the color. I don't know if you can see the color, but that's like a hunter green, maybe even a blue green, but this is olive drab, and this is awesome. But I only have this pack. All the 3M ones have the same ugly green color, right? Okay. If I had more packs like this, I would use them. Plus, I was noticing, maybe, no wait, hold on. I think I got this as Home Depot actually. I think I got these at Home Depot. Okay, so I'm going to look at this and we'll figure, let's see if it even says on the back, like, who makes it. Fine print. Made in Canada. Huh. Interesting. But, okay, what was I going to say? Oh no, I can't remember. Oh yeah. This is what I was going to say. These guys are very thin, right? Narrow. 5, 7 millimeters, something like that. What does it say? Okay, 96 millimeters. Well, that would be across here. How thick are they? Doesn't say. Okay. Okay, this one doesn't say. This one might say, because it's the same thickness. It does. 0.7 centimeters. So that's 79. 7. Wait. Yeah, 7 millimeters. Okay, almost 8. 8 millimeters across. And that's the same as these brown ones. These brown ones might actually be even thinner. But these guys are fairly thick. I'm going to say a good 10 millimeters. These guys are much thicker. So these I just like these a lot better. Okay. So I'm going to make a bunch of wild hedges. Not only am I going to flock them, but I'm also going to use like clump foliage and tufts and stuff like that to make them look wild and, you know, just each one be different. I'm going to make some popsicle stick strips with the hedges on them so I can place them anywhere I want. And some of those are going to go beside these. I'm going to put some texture paste down next to these to hide the transition and to make a flat area to put the hedge on top of, basically. And then I got to fix all this on the inside. The water still needs to dry. So those are the hedges. Those are the fields. Okay, I got a bunch of new buildings in from Dark Ops. If you watch the Wargaming Wednesday live stream, I put a couple of those together on stream, and I've got a total of 6 of those. That's way more than I need for this battlefield. There's only going to be 2 buildings in my farm complex, and then there's going to be 3 buildings in town, plus, so that's only 5 buildings, and then the scratch-built church that I made, which you could see on a video where I had built this church and graveyard for our World War II game. Okay, what else? Okay, I got a bunch of plastic Zvezda 15 millimeter tanks in plastic model kits, and I put one of them together. I started this on the live stream, but I finished it after the live stream, and I just spray painted it olive drab. There we go. It's going to be a Sherman tank, right? 15 millimeter. So when I get my battlefront Sherman tanks, I'm going to compare them to this to see if they're similarly sized. Also, I have a bunch of the Zvezda model kits. But I just received today two of these, which were back ordered. These are the Yag Panthers. Now, 99% of these model kits are not going to be used in this scenario. I just got them for my own personal collection. Okay. Okay, as an update also for the for this project, my Battlefront paratroopers, World War II, Flames of War companies. I got the American paratroopers and American infantry and a platoon of tanks, and I also have German grenadiers and German machine gun teams coming in. I ordered those in December, you might remember from previous videos, and they still haven't shipped them yet. They were waiting for the German machine guns to come back into stock before they ship anything. I am waiting. I'm waiting. Okay, so casualty caps. As you know, I am fielding my German grenadiers like this instead of like this. I've considered fielding them like this as individual soldiers that you can move around but this would be more time consuming and annoying for a convention setting. This is my thought process. If I put them together like this, they'll be easier to move around. They got to stay together anyway, so that pretty much equates to exactly the same thing. So I just made my entire company like this, but I also have a few individuals. So like if like 3 guys die, we can pull this out and just put 1 guy down and say that's what's left. Or maybe even 2 guys if 2 guys get killed. But I'm going to, while this is still in play, I'm going to use casualty caps. I have ordered some red and some yellow casualty caps. I already have a bunch of white casualty caps. And in addition to the casualty caps, which are basically bolt end, they're like rubber end pieces that would just sit on top of a miniature to say that he's dead. I also have these a number of these white rings, which you can just lay on a man and you could say he's dead, just like that, and say those guys are dead. I could probably paint those red and it would look like blood or whatever, but I think the white kind of stands out and makes it obvious that they're no longer alive. If I was to go individually mounting my guys, then you just pull the figure off. But because they're on a base like this, you can't pull them off. So basically you just kill them. Say those guys are dead, and then those 2 guys are left, and you keep moving. If there's 2 guys, I've got a number of these individuals. We could probably swap that out and then pull this off. That way you don't have to have a ton of casualty caps on the table. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure out how we're going to do it. I'm not exactly sure. I think I'm going to do the rings and maybe the casualty caps. I don't know. Oh yeah, now the decals. I did get a bunch of stuff from Skytrix. I got the German crosses, right, in 15 millimeter. I ordered 2 or 3 of those. I got the American stars. I got 2 or 3 of those. And then German numbers, both the red and the black. And then the British, I got their diamonds, triangles, circles, squares in a variety of different colors, like white, blue, and red and yellow. So I don't need any British for this battle, but and I don't need really any German vehicle crosses for this battle because the Germans don't have anything except for the R-35s, which I've already got finished. But the Americans do have 1 Sherman tank, not a 76, so I won't be using this vehicle right here. But when I get my Flames of War vehicles in, I'll build a 75 tank. And then I think those come with decals, but any like Old Glory tanks that I get, or any more of the Zvezda tanks that I get, I'll need decals because they don't come with them. So that's why I ordered those. And at the same time, with the Zvezda, I'm sorry, not Zvezda. At the same time, with the Skytrix, I got these 15 millimeter fences, which I could technically use if I wanted around the fields as well, but I want them to be hedges. I will still use these for various projects like Napoleonics, American War of Independence, World War II, it all works really well. And the Skytrex bases work out really well, where these guys match up really good corner to corner. I'm super happy about that. And I think these are kind of big for 15 millimeter soldiers, but maybe not. And so I'm thinking I'm going to scale my hedges to be about the same size as these. Okay, I've also, and this is a premature hedge. This was an experiment. I built one of those. This is one of those pads flocked. I also built a number of bocage that I built every bocage I'm going to need for this battle. So I actually just released today a video on how I built all those bocage with the trees and the clump foliage and the styrofoam, the popsicle stick, basically everything. So you should go check that out. Okay, so the next thing that I plan to do is, first of all, allow this to dry, which I just applied that today, so that should be dry tomorrow. I do plan on taking my roads. Here, let's move this out of the way far enough that you can see it. Okay, so my asphalt roads, the primary road, has ditches along both sides. I do plan to take clump foliage, and I'm gonna apply a bead of glue, and then I don't know if I'm gonna flock it first and then randomly clump foliage it, or just 100% clump foliage it. But I want to fill these ditches on both sides of the road. That's my next step. Yeah, so the bocage, I'm working on hedges and fields, and I'm still waiting for the Americans. Once the Americans get here and I get them put together, we could probably get to playing a few games. Even if not this scenario, just some one-off short scenarios or whatever, just to get a feel for how the game flows and get my friends used to it, so that they can, if they wanted to help me host the game, they can, or just to get their opinion on how the game feels and what the battlefield looks like, etc., etc. Okay, well, thanks for coming out and watching this update. I have the bocage video is finished uploading right now. It should be out this morning. I'm going to edit this video and upload it later in the afternoon. So this one will definitely be out before that one. So they both should be out when you're watching this one. Alright, so thank you for coming out and watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.